Hey everybody, I've got my Sooner gear on because I went and watched my Sooner girls beat Baylor's butt in softball today. Glorious day. And he also had a good day in women's basketball as well. Oklahoma is probably the top state in the nation for women's sports. I bet you didn't know that. But at any rate, on to more serious things here. You know that I've been uncovering Rashad Richey's fraudulent academic records along with a friend of mine who goes by PhD Investigator. Well, he was involved in another fraud case that has just recently exploded. And we're going to have a live stream coming up, I'm sure, about that to let him talk about his involvement in it. But I do want to at least play this news clip about it. This concerns a Wichita-based medical nonprofit called GraceMed and its CEO. Hello out there. I am trying to get through.
With his powerful brainwaves cradled in the warmth of reasoning, it's time for Johnny Walker Dredd to straighten you out on a thing or two. Emanating all the way from exciting Las Vegas, Oklahoma, it's the Johnny Walker Dredd Show.
And away we go.
Healthcare executive refusing to show proof of college degrees she claims to have.
GraceMed CEO Venus Lee oversees more than a dozen medical clinics in Wichita and surrounding areas and employs hundreds of people. Claims to have an MBA from Wichita State and also a doctorate from Emory University.
Gee, that kind of sounds like somebody we know, doesn't it? Except this woman needs to up her game a little, because Rashad Richey, by my latest count, had claimed 2 Juris Doctorates, 4 PhDs, and 4 master's degrees. So this is small potatoes, except that she was making big money as a CEO of a pretty important medical nonprofit.
GraceMed is a faith-based nonprofit and pays her more than $240,000 a year. This is to help provide health care to underserved patients.
Viewers started sending FactFinder 12 messages late last month wanting us to look into it. You asked us to look for the facts in this, so New at 6 investigator Brandon Stitt took the questions right to Venus Lee herself and walks you through what we were able to verify.
Now, there is an online investigator named Brunet who was spearheading this. I know that PhD investigator was also involved in this in some fashion. I'm not sure of the details, but again, we're going to have a live stream, I'm sure, at some point here, and we'll let him talk about how he played a role. But at any rate, those are the guys who really started this thing rolling.
Here are the facts we know. Just days ago, this was GraceMed's website. It showed CEO Venus Lee's education. A Doctor of Theology degree from Emory University in Atlanta.
Okay, a Doctor of Theology heading a medical nonprofit. Kind of odd, but oh well.
And an MBA from Wichita State University. This is the same page with the education bio removed. Our next step, the National Student Clearinghouse. It's what universities, including WSU, use for degree verification. It shows Lee only attended school for 1 year in the mid-90s, but has no degree from there. I verified this again with the WSU registrar. The office confirms the document is accurate and no degree exists for Lee at Wichita State. Nothing exists for Emory University under Lee's name. We called the school but have not heard back. Emory told a national investigative reporter with the online site Carl Stack that no record exists for Venus Lee in their THD program.
Carl Stack, I think, is Chris Burnet's online blog.
Finally, we went directly to CEO Lee. She told me the degrees do exist and had 2 documents she told me prove it, but wouldn't allow me to read them.
Gee, that's a little suspicious.
Asked if what WSU said was accurate, she didn't answer. We asked to see actual diplomas and she said they were at her home, but again, wouldn't allow us to see them. She also declined to go on camera and told us to report the facts as we know them.
Late this afternoon, we received this statement from GraceMed Health Clinic addressing the issue. The first line reads, Venus Lee has confirmed that she has no credentials under the names of Venus Lee, Thatcher, or Thomas, which is all she is willing to confirm.
Okay, so let's see here. If I really had a PhD from an institution and a question was raised that I didn't, I would be doing everything I could to prove that I had one. I would be yanking out my diploma. I'd be yanking out my dissertation, my transcripts. I would be extraordinarily forthcoming with the information because my reputation is on the line. The last thing I would do would be do this, well, I have the degrees at home, but I can't let you look at them or anything like that. She doesn't have either of those degrees at all. Nada. What's amazing is that I don't think she ever even attended Emory University. So it takes a lot of guts to tell people that you have a PhD from an institution that you never attended, especially since it's a bona fide 4-year university with graduate programs. That takes some guts. Rashad gets around that by going to South America for his degrees, which makes it harder to sort of get information. But if you're going to claim a fake degree and you claim it from Emory, oh boy, I mean, that's not going to hold up very well. And it didn't.
That's the only statement in the nearly 2-page address that addresses the issues, or I'm sorry, doesn't address the issues rather, and gives no further explanation about what that means. The rest talks about her accomplishments over the past several years, and we will have that entire statement online for you to read.
All right,
So if you want to get really sick, wait till you read that. I actually did. And they gloat about how great she was and how much she helped further the program after she lied to them and took over a spot that should have went to somebody else. So I can't believe that they're doing this. You have a person who lied to you to get a job and now is going to have to resign. It's going to embarrass your institution. And you come out and talk about how great they were? Holy cow. There's just a whole bunch of cowards out there.
Brandon, no credentials under those names, which I think leaves a lot more questions, and we got no more clarification on that. So GraceMed has a board. What did the board of directors say?
Yeah, that's right, Mike. We did reach out to each of the board members to ask them what happens now or if this issue has been brought to their attention, but none of them returned our calls or messages.
All right, thanks, Brandon.
Okay, so what was her salary? $240,000 a year. That's right. She made $240,000 a year at a job that she didn't even deserve. And best of all, she just gets to walk in, hand them a resignation, and walk away, leaving them to tell everybody how wonderful she was. So does dishonesty pay? Yeah. Unfortunately, nobody has the courage to stand up for what's right. So what all came of this? Well, guess what? Venus Lee had to resign following the investigation by Chris Brunet and PhD Investigator. It says, GraceMed announced Wednesday that Chief Executive Officer Venus Lee has resigned from her position after 14 years. In a release sent out Wednesday, the GraceMed Board of Directors said Lee's enthusiasm and leadership will be deeply missed. Her resignation comes after the website carlstack.com, Chris Brunet, posted an investigation claiming Lee failed to provide proof of her academic credentials. Lee's resume claimed that she held a Doctor of Theology from Emory University. Carl Stack contacted Emory University and was told the school has no records of Venus Lee as a student in the academic program, so she never attended the university where she claimed a doctorate. Here's another news site where they have a quote from the board. During her tenure, her extraordinary service has advanced GraceMed to where it is today. You see, this is what lying on your resume gets you. The board expresses its appreciation for Venus Lee and her remarkable service. Her enthusiasm and leadership will be deeply missed. The poor sucker who didn't get the job because she faked her credentials, well, screw you. You don't matter. So she turns in her resignation, pockets probably close to a couple of $1 million that she's collected off of this deal, and walks away. And guess what? She'll be hired by somebody else relatively soon. You can bank on it. Like my video and subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned for more on this.